Marc with the Fantasy Knockout Fantasy Football Show. Today is Tuesday, November 8th. I'm excited for today's show. It is the Week 10 must-add players. Who are we looking at this week? Who's the flavor of the week at quarterback and defense? You can follow the show on social media at Fantasy Knockout. Make sure to subscribe whatever platform you're watching or listening on, and let's hit that goal of 100 subscribers on YouTube. Let's talk some news.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the news.
News with views. So running back Ezekiel Elliott from Dallas. He did not practice Monday. His owner, Jerry Jones, said that he expects Zeke to return in Week 10, but the absence isn't encouraging. So Tony Pollard gets a huge bump with no Zeke. Quarterback Josh Allen from Buffalo. Reports say that Allen elbow, he had an elbow, is likely to be limited in practice. Yes, he has an elbow, but he injured it in the game. He suffered an injury late in the game. It didn't look too serious or enough for him to miss any time. It could just be one of those nagging injuries. We'll just have to monitor. So expect him to be questionable all week long and good to go for Week 10. Wide receiver Odell Beckham, the free agent, he is expected to be cleared by the end of the week medically. Interest in him has begun to heat up. Reports say he could sign as early as December, and he's drawn interest from like Dallas, Buffalo, the Giants, the Rams, and others. So he is a possible stash candidate if you have the space on your bench. Wide receiver Romeo Doubs from Green Bay, he has been diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. He's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Bummer. He was a nice pickup a couple weeks ago. We were hoping that it would turn into something more. Unfortunately, it's not. Head coach Frank Wright from Indianapolis, he has been let go. He's been terminated. He's gone. They ended up bringing in Jeff Saturday, former player. He is an ESPN analyst, has no tie. I mean, he's had ties with the team, but he's not a coach or anything like that right now. Well, he's now the interim head coach for the Colts, so that'll be interesting. Running back Aaron Jones from Green Bay, reports came back negative on Jones' on his injured ankle. He was feared to have suffered a high ankle sprain, so we'll have to kind of monitor this and in practices. If he's practicing, he's good to go. If he's starting to miss practices, A.J. Dillon is going to get a huge bump there, similar to Tony Pollard and Zeke. Main event, players to add for Week 10, the waiver edition. Teams on bye this week. We got 4 of them. So we have the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, New England Patriots, and the New York Jets. I got players listed in importance of order by position. So we'll just start off with the quarterbacks. And obviously the first guys we talk about are the more priority guys. Justin Fields from Chicago. He is 69% owned. He had a monster week this week. He is looking good. They are starting to figure it out there in Chicago. Geno Smith from Seattle, 78% owned. These guys are probably owned, but just check to see if they've been dropped or if they're out there. These next 2 guys you can start this week. They're more of streamable options. Daniel Jones from the Giants, he's 40% owned. Andy Dalton from the Saints, he's about 15% owned. Tight ends, Greg Dulcich from Denver, he is the number 1 waiver priority pickup this week. I think he is going to have fantasy relevance the rest of the season. He's 36% owned. Cade Otton from Tampa Bay, 11% owned. And Cole Kmet, he is getting it done with Justin Fields. I think he's got multiple touchdowns in a row in the last couple weeks. He's about 23% owned there. Running backs, if you're in need of a running back, Jeff Wilson from Miami, he's about 52% owned. Gus Edwards from Baltimore, yes, he is on bye this week. See if he gets dropped. He's about 51% owned. He is the back there in Baltimore to own. Rachaad White, these are more stashes and holds, but Rachaad White from Tampa Bay, 34% owned. Kyren Williams from the Rams, he's about 42% owned. Jaylen Warren from Pittsburgh, he's about 7% owned. And then Deion Jackson from Indianapolis, he's about 66% owned. Some wide receivers, guys that just we should go pick up and see if they're available. Probably not, but Joshua Palmer from the Chargers, he's about 72% owned. He had a nice week this week. The next guy should be out there, but McCole Hardman from Kansas City, 48% owned. Wan'Dale Robinson from the Giants, he had the bye last week, so he should be out there, 26% owned. Donovan Peoples-Jones Jr. from Cleveland, he's about 21% owned. Michael Gallup from Dallas, 39% owned. DeAndre Carter from the Chargers, 31% owned. And then Terrace Marshall's had 2 solid weeks in a row. Let's see. He's got that NBA Jam rule going. He's heating up. We'll see if he catches fire this week. He's about 6% owned. So I just told you guys who to pick up. Let's talk some guys you could drop. It is okay to move on from. And Allen Robinson from the Rams, even Drake London. He's been one of the guys that I've really liked this year. I love the talent. He's just not getting the proper usage. But yes, if you have to move on from these guys, go ahead. You have my blessing. But hold on to him if you can. But if you need the spot to play somebody this week, I get it. But Allen Robinson, Drake London from the Falcons, Hunter Renfrow from the Raiders, Elijah Moore from the Jets. Some streaming quarterbacks this week. Jared Goff from Detroit. He's at Chicago, about 49% owned. He's got a decent matchup. We're hoping for that high-scoring game. And then Andy Dalton from the Saints. He's at Pittsburgh. He's 15% owned. He's got that favorable matchup, and he's been pretty serviceable. Not great options this week as far as streaming quarterbacks. Here's some streaming defenses, a little bit better this week. Denver Broncos, they've probably been dropped coming off their bye. They're at Tennessee. They're about 46% owned. They are a top defense. The last 4 games, they have 13 sacks, 5 interceptions. They get rookie quarterback, and he's a banged up Tannehill. Yeah, they look good against Kansas City, but, it's still the Derrick Henry show there. They should be able to stop Henry enough. The New Orleans Saints, they're at Pittsburgh. They're about 37% owned. The last 4 games, they've gotten 12 sacks, 1 interception, and they get to go against a rookie quarterback. The Tennessee Titans is the other defense to pick up. They're versus Denver. They're 21% owned. The last 3 games, they got 10 sacks, 4 interceptions, and they look great against Mahomes. Now they get Russ, so they should do a lot better. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. The next show is the Week 10 must-start players. Thank you for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe whatever platform you're on. Please leave that rating and review. Really helps me out. All right. Till next time. See ya.